The internet is a foul and terrible place, filled with trolls, haters, and your in-laws, all of which are more terrifying than the last. But the thing that I can't stand the most is bullshit psychology advice. And as your big brother of the internet, I feel it is my duty, my responsibility to correct the shit that's out there. So let's strap in. I ran across this page that I genuinely like, but it's a repost page, and those are pretty good. They repost some of the best stuff on the internet they find that's interesting. Existential reflections and philosophy fix, because if you did not know about your favorite YouTuber, TickToker, had to interrupt past Jesse there for just a minute. Thank you so much to everyone who has followed the page. We just hit 1.7 million followers over on TikTok.
No, God, please, no, no!
Blowing up lately. It currently is sitting at 4.3 million views. So to everyone who's joined the Discord, everyone who's been supporting the channel, thank you so much. I appreciate the absolute boogers out of you. If you want to join the Discord, you want to check out free Dream app, it's all in the description down below. But back to the video. I was going to be a philosophy major before I became a psychology major, and then got into dream interpretation and hypnosis, because I love dealing with the mind, complex problems and problems that don't have solutions, real society-based, community-based kind of problems. And so philosophy, at least I believe, philosophy is the natural evolution into psychology. So psychology now is the new philosophy. And I think that's where a lot of really great debates are happening. And as with any debate, I need to weigh in because some of it is just garbage. And so this repost page posted this, and I will show you right now. They said, we don't erase our trauma. We reduce the impact it has on us. Which pisses me the fuck off because it creates some real bullshit, faulty expectations. And I'll tell you why. Of course it sounds nice, and that's what they're capitalizing on, right? It sounds nice. But the most nefarious, malfeasant part of the whole thing is that it sounds nice, but it sets up unconscious and subtle expectations that are going to fuck you up. And this is why. Social media and society, human beings are very much driven to fit in and to be okay, right? We're social creatures. We are built to be in connection with other human beings. That is the whole purpose. And so when we see these things from a page that has a lot of followers, like let's even see, Existential Reflections has 120,000 followers, and then that other page that they co-posted that with, Psychology Fix, has 328,000 followers. So with that comes kind of the expectation of clout, right? They kind of assume that, these people know what they're talking about. A lot of other people kind of support what they're saying. And so we want to fit in. So we're like, okay, this must be the way that trauma needs to be processed. But it's overly simplified, and it just misses the point altogether. And I've made comments about this. I've held my tongue in the past because there have been some other therapists who have made some podcasts and stuff trying to explain trauma. But the thing I get the most frustrated about is they don't fucking know how to define the damn thing itself. You have to start with a good understanding and a good definition of trauma before you can even go talking about how to heal it. If you don't understand the problem, how can you really make a solution to the problem? You have to take the time, slow down, and be understanding and wise about what the issue is before you can potentially offer and posit a solution, right? So that's the issue that we're facing here, and this is what's happening with this. We reduce the impact it has on us. Now, here's why. What is trauma? So let's start there before I decompose the thing that's frustrating me the most here. I can't even get my words straight. Trauma, at its core, trauma is a non-consensual ripping away of an identity. That is it. One sentence, simple. And when I hear therapists talk about trauma, they gotta give you a whole fucking paragraph about what trauma is, because they can't define it simply. And if you can't define something for a 5-year-old or an elementary school kid, then you don't know what it is. If you can give a compact and positive solution to it, well, a positive explanation to it, then you understand the problem. And that's what trauma is. As we go through our life, we develop identities. We understand who we are, right? My name is Jesse. I'm going to be a dad soon. I'm a husband to my wife. I'm a teacher to my students. I'm a counselor to those who come and seek help from me. I'm an influencer to you on the other side of this camera, right? Those are my identities. Now, as we go through life, we're developing new identities, and sometimes when trauma happens, that identity is ripped away from us. For example, let's say that it's the end of my day at my counseling office. I'm done. I'm kind of through with work. And so I grab my keys, gather my stuff, put my laptop in my bag, and I walk out to my car. as an American citizen, as somebody who lives with privilege, white privilege, male privilege, in a first world society, I reasonably expect that I can walk to my car, get in my car, and drive home. Doesn't even cross my mind. I just think I'm going to get in my car, I'm going to walk to my car and go home. Until somebody's waiting for me in my car to do me harm. And in that moment, I have this expectation. My identity is I'm an American, I'm safe. I'm a male, I'm a white male, all these things, whatever you want to go into. And in that moment, that identity is ripped away. I'm no longer safe. Nobody cares who I am. Nobody's there to help me. I'm not strong. I'm not confident. And so these things that I thought I could trust in get ripped away. Another great example, if you've ever been in a car accident, you have a reasonable expectation that everyone's going to drive safe, that people are going to get to their destinations on time. You've done it 100 times and you've gotten there safely until you don't. And then that identity of being safe, being in control is a huge one, gets ripped away from you. And in that moment, we have a problem. You either get stuck in that unsafety, and that unsafety then becomes your identity, or you come up with a better way to understand and to really define what your identity actually is. So for me, in that moment, it's like, well, I have to change my identity. I'm not always safe being in a car. That's okay. That's why I drive safe, right? And you see these people out there driving recklessly. You can see clearly that they don't understand and that they have a faulty identity, thinking that they can drive recklessly and that their life can just be, they can be confident and drive fast and they're a badass and listening to angry rap music, whatever, the whole thing. And I'm a fan of angry rap music. Don't get me wrong there. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's the problem. And so I see these people and they'll get into these arguments with others. Right? They'll say, someone broke a nail. They'll be like, I'm traumatized because I broke my nail. And they'll be like, that's not trauma. I'm like, wait. Yes, it is. If your identity is wrapped up in you always having perfect nails and always being kind of on point and always being beautiful, and then you break a nail without expecting to, your identity of being beautiful and being perfect gets ripped away. And so you have a trauma. You have this space, this black ethos in the abyss where it's like, I don't know who I am right now. That's the experience of trauma. Now, in that moment, you are going to have to reinvent your identity, or at least add a new part to that identity. And that's where this picture gets so fucked up. Because in the end, we don't erase trauma, which I agree with. It says we reduce the impact it has on us. And that means, well, that's false. You are always going to be different because of that trauma. You will never be the same after that experience. But it's not any different than any other experience, right? If you have an amazing, 12-year-old birthday and that's transformative and you learn that your mommy and daddy love you very much, that stays with you for forever. And so with this picture comes that shame of, well, if I haven't reduced the impact my trauma has on me, I'm not well. I'm still sick. I'm still in this black and gray picture over here. And that's the part that I want to take away. You will always remember your trauma. It will always be part of your story. And those who integrate and you talk to who have healed well and integrated their trauma well, they never forget that and they don't reduce the impact it has on them. Take me, for example. I mean, there's different things. I'm not trauma comparing, but the reason I'm a therapist is because of the shit that I went through when I was a kid. The reason that I'm here having this conversation with you is because I've seen people broken, I've been broken, and I've watched my life fall apart in front of me. And I said, you know what? Someone needs to do something about this. There are things that are misunderstood, not understood, that someone needs to be brave enough to go figure out and tell the rest of the world. And that's why I'm here. That will never change because my traumatic life experiences have informed me this is now a part of my identity. And it's a part of my identity I never want to lose. And so what I think is so dangerous about this picture is the unconscious and the implicit assumption that if your trauma is still impacting you, you aren't healed yet. And that is bullshit. That's exactly what I want to communicate in this video. So what's the positive solution, right? Your trauma impacting you is a good thing, but I don't want it to impact you in those maladaptive ways. So if in this picture, right, we're talking about we reduce the impact it has on us, if we change the wording and say we reduce the negative symptoms of the trauma, I'm in 100% agreement. I will sit down, I will shut the hell up. But if we're just talking about impact, just the simple word impact, your trauma will impact you all the time. We want to reduce the symptoms. When trauma has not been integrated and not been processed well, it causes a host of very negative, very dangerous symptoms, right? And that's where my career started, with trauma-focused hypnotherapy, with dream interpretation, with nightmare help, with post-traumatic stress nightmare dreams, right? And helping people overcome those things: anxiety, depression, panic attacks, agoraphobia. I've even seen OCD develop, right? Because of these things. I've even seen people, because they experience trauma, kind of develop an antisocial personality disorder that causes them to hurt other people. And we've had to work through that as well. Those are the negative impacts of trauma. We are trying to reduce those. And so I think it's just dangerous the way that this picture has been worded, the way that these things have been explained in this simple Instagram post, because it comes with a really subtle and a really nefarious suggestion that I just want to clear up. And I want to encourage you, if your trauma is impacting you, I'm glad it's impacting you, and I hope it's impacting you in the positive way. If you're experiencing negative impacts of your trauma, go talk to a counselor, go talk to someone, go work through those things, because those are the signals from your mind to say that we haven't integrated this life experience totally and completely yet. We have not yet made peace with these things, right? And there's other parts of trauma where it's like, you may just not enjoy other things anymore. For me, I do not enjoy kids' movies. That brings back a very dark and a very troubled part of my life. I can do it. I don't have the panic attacks that I used to. I don't have the anxiety that I used to, but it's not something I enjoy, and I'll never be the kind of person who enjoys those things. Because of my past experiences with trauma, I really do not enjoy the Saw movies or torture movies. I also don't enjoy the Jackass movies where people are getting hurt. That makes me wildly uncomfortable. I can do it. I can move through it. I can watch those things if I need to, but it brings me no joy and it makes me feel disgusted. Right? And there's some people who enjoy those. I'm not judging those people, but because of my life experiences, because of my trauma, and having positively integrated that trauma into my life, I now have a personality that leads me to be the unique and empowered individual that I am. And I'm hoping for the exact same thing for you. So I hope that you ignore this post, or at least understand how wrongly this piece is worded, and that we want to reduce the negative and maladaptive symptoms of trauma. But we absolutely want to positively integrate that trauma so that you are a more healthy, more functional, more adaptive person who can be the beautiful human that you know you're supposed to be. Remember, your mind is not against you. It's just misunderstood. Work with those negative symptoms. Help them process, help them relieve that tension, so that way you can positively integrate those experiences into your life and be a more well-informed and healthy person. Trauma is not the end, and you're not broken either. You just realize something about life that maybe other people haven't realized, and you can then share that message with others. It's not your responsibility to share that message, but you can. And that's at least what motivates me. And so I'll just share my personal experience with that, and hopefully it helps motivate you. Thanks for watching. I hope it helps. Bye. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If I get 4,000 watch hours on YouTube, I can start monetizing my channel and be a partner, and that will help me make more YouTube videos for you. So please smash that subscribe button, lick that subscribe button, throat kick that subscribe button, whatever you got to do, just make sure it changes color, all right?